and welcome to Caribbean Rob. In this episode, you're going to be watching me go along the U.S. coastline and around the Canadian coastline of Lake Erie. But it doesn't start that easy.
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am on the far side of Boblo. There's Boblo behind me, and there's Lake Erie behind me now. So I'm going out on the lake. We didn't make it this afternoon on the fog, but doing it now, dude. And gonna have some fun. I'll be able to take the spinnaker straight back down, or wing to wing, whatever comes first. Wish you were here. Wish me luck.
So as you saw, I had to do a little navigation and kind of go into Boblo Island for about 4 hours for the fog to burn off. So now I'm running a little late, but I'm on my way. About 50 nautical miles from where I'm going to be heading this morning and this afternoon, and I'll be getting in kind of late, but I'm on my way to Put-in Bay, Ohio.
You tars of Columbia, give ears to my story. Who fought with brave Perry, whose cannon did roar? Your valor has gained you an immortal glory, and fame that will last until time is no more. On the 10th of September, let us all remember, as long as the globe on its axis reels round, our tars and Marines on Lake Erie were seen to make the red flag of proud Britain come down. Colombian tars are the true sons of Mars, who rake fore and aft when they fight on the deep. On the bed of Lake Erie, commanded by Perry, they caused many Britons to take the last leap. The van of our fleet was brought up complete, commanded by Perry, the Lawrence bore down. Our guns they did roar, such terrific power, that savages trembled at that dreadful sound. The Lawrence sustained the most dreadful of fires. She fought 3-2-1 for 2 glasses or more, whilst Perry undaunted did firmly stand by her, and on the proud foe heavy broadsides did pour. Her mast being shattered, her rigging all tattered, her sails all in ribbons, her wheels shot away. With few left on deck to manage the wreck, our heroes on board her no longer would slay. One gallant act of our noble commander, whilst writing my song I shall notice with pride, when launching the smack that carried his standard, the ball whistled through her quite close by his side. Said Perry, those villains intend sure to drown us, but push on, my brave boys, you need never fear. And then with his coat he plugged up the boat, and through sulphur and fire away he did steer. The famed Niagara, now proud of her Perry, displayed all her banners and gallant array. Full 25 guns on board she did carry, which soon put an end to this sad bloody fray. the Britons grew shorter and shorter, the signal was given to break through their line. While starboard to larboard and from every quarter, the guns of Columbia gloriously shine. In the heat of the battle, whose cannon did rattle, on the Lawrence a wreck, with their men near all slain, brave Elliot did steer and safe brought up the rear, and by this grand maneuver the victory was gained. Oh, had you been there, I vow and declare, that's such a grand sight you had ne'er saw before, when 6 bloody flags that no longer would wave were laid at the feet of our brave Commodore. British fleet was captured complete, not one single vessel from us got away, and prisoners some hundreds Columbians wondered to see them all anchored and moored on the bay. Great Britain may boast of her conquering heroes, her Rodneys, her Nelsons, and all the old crew, but Rome in their glory ne'er told such a story, nor boasted such feats as Columbians can do. So Columbians sing and make the woods ring, and toast those brave heroes by sea and by land. What's Britain's drink sherry, let us drink to Perry, and toss it about with a full glass in hand. Columbians sing and make the woods ring, and toss those brave heroes by sea and by land. Whilst Britain's drink sherry, let us drink to Perry, and toss it about with a full glass in hand.
Well, with my paperwork in order and arriving safely in Put-in Bay, it's now time to head over to Cleveland, Ohio to watch the Wild Thing.
Oh my God, it's him. Crank it, Jerry.
Goddamn song again! The bad seat is back! It's Wild Thing! You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Come on, Wild Thing!
Nice look. Welcome back, Warren. Good to be back.
Well, I'm on my way to Fairport Harbor, just a couple miles down the lake from Cleveland, Ohio. On my next leg of the trip, I leave town and head up again to a small town of Ashtabula, also known as Coal Town. I've been here before on one of my trips, and the town is, well, it's an ore and coal town. And on the next leg of my trip, I go up to Erie, Pennsylvania. Beautiful town, shipbuilding, War of 1812. Great story. I was on my way to the Buffalo Yacht Club, and one of the boats pulled up beside me and asked me where I was headed. And I said to them I was going to go in and tie up for the night. Ends up the fellow says to me, he says, "Hey, why don't you be my guest for the night and there won't be any cost." I ended up having supper with them and partied with them the rest of the night. So that's what it's all about. With a little bit of a hangover, I wake up the next morning and head back to Canada to Port Colborne, where the Welland Canals start. And once again, I head out and I'm on my way to a significantly historical city, not just known for its fishing, but for over having 100,000 motorcycles on every Friday the 13th, Port Dover, Ontario. It's hard to believe that just back in 1981, it was just a bunch of fellow motorcycles looking for some good camaraderie, only to have, a few years later, having so many bikes from so many places in the world, people coming from all over the world for this special event.
I want a diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best for me. Hey, Daddy.
I'll be honest with you, when I was at Port Dover, it wasn't Friday the 13th, but I put in all the extra stuff just to kind of make the trip interesting. But I have since then gone to Port Dover and had Port Dover Friday the 13th experience, one of the items that was on my bucket list. So this trip now, I have to go up and around Long Point. Now, Long Point is about 25 nautical miles around that point. And then you've got the long leg all the way down about 70 to 75 nautical miles to Port Stanley. It was a long day, and it was kind of rough, but the wind was in my favor, and I got to sail all the way down and make it safe into port. Well, after having to stay a few days to wait for the weather to calm down and Lake Erie to calm down, as she's so well known for, I head down to Erie, Ontario, which is just a couple of miles down, about 40 to 45, and again, you've got Erie sticking out in the lake. You've got to go all the way out and come back in to stay out of the sandbars. Well, after leaving Erie, I head over to Peely Island, get some wine and get some relaxation in. Last leg of my trip.
Those are the blades for the windmills, power stations. Look at how big that freighter is. And how big the blades are. Wind power, man. Okay, I just got off the lake. I'm going downriver. Obviously you can see the spinnaker. There's Boblo there, Amherstburg there, Lake Erie there, Detroit River that way, and I'm going into whatchamacallit, Crystal Bay for the night, and I'm gonna crash and then get up the next morning and do some more sailing and live off of canned food and water. That's the best. So she's a pretty girl, isn't she? Let me flip her around. The full. She's running well. I don't sink the boat trying to get the video. No. But anyways,